The box fan in the corner hummed like it was trying to drown out the past. Jenna Porter sat at the edge of her twin mattress, arms resting on her knees, taking in the childhood bedroom that hadn't changed in over a decade. Posters of long-faded pop stars curled at the edges. A dry calendar from 2012 still hung on the closet door, marked only with her brother's soccer games. The glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling had long since stopped glowing. It was less a room and more a forgotten time capsule, untouched, unclaimed, unloved. She paid $450, 0 cents a month in rent to her mother. No lease, no locks on the doors, just a spoken agreement. Her money helped keep the fridge stocked and the lights on. In return, she got a narrow slice of space and the constant reminder that she wasn't really supposed to be there. Her younger brother Ethan, on the other hand, lived like a guest of honor. His penthouse suite, as he jokingly called it, was the biggest bedroom in the house. Blackout curtains, a flat screen mounted on the wall, PS5 glowing, mini fridge buzzing. He didn't pay rent, didn't do chores, didn't even carry guilt. Their dad, Dennis, would just shrug and say, "He's figuring things out," like Ethan was some misunderstood genius waiting for the world to catch up. Their mom, Cheryl, always followed it up with a sigh and her favorite excuse. "Ethan's sensitive, he just needs more time." Meanwhile, Jenna worked overtime at a downtown IT help desk, solving other people's meltdowns while fielding her own. Every shift meant being screamed at over printers, internet outages, and passwords forgotten for the 7th time. She'd come home to Ethan and his friends playing backyard beer pong, the thumps of their laughter reverberating through the drywall, as if her life was background noise to their fun. It wasn't that anyone told her outright she didn't matter. It was in the silence, in how her mom's face lit up when Ethan walked in the room smelling like bad decisions and vape juice, in how her dad would tell coworkers about Ethan's big plans, but never mention Jenna's double shifts or the fact that she made the family's budget balance. But the night everything shifted, the moment things stopped being quietly unfair and became something else entirely, was the day Ethan got the Tesla. He'd barely scraped through college, 6 years, 4 majors, 2 academic probations, but somehow they celebrated like he'd just discovered a cure for something. Jenna didn't attend his ceremony. She had work. Always did. But her parents asked her to be home by 5, said there was a surprise. For a split second, she thought maybe they'd finally seen her. Maybe they were doing something for her. A dinner, a thank you, something. Instead, there was a Tesla in the driveway. Brand new, white, shiny, still wrapped in a big red bow like it had rolled off a commercial set. Ethan screamed like he'd just won a game show. Literally screamed. He jumped into their dad's arms, then immediately started filming for Instagram before he even touched the car. Cheryl took pictures, Dennis handed over the keys in a little velvet box like it was a proposal, and Jenna stood on the porch, arms crossed, not a single pair of eyes on her. When Dennis finally turned and caught her in his line of sight, he said something that stayed burned into her memory. "Don't be jealous. Your brother earned this." Jenna stared at him. She'd graduated magna cum laude in 4 years, while working 2 jobs. She got a $50 0 cents Applebee's gift card. No dinner, no family toast, no fridge photo in her cap and gown. "He struggled," her mom added, as if that erased the difference. "College was easier for you." Jenna didn't say anything that night, but something inside her cracked. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, like a hairline fracture in a mirror. The Tesla White Lightning, Ethan named it, became more than a car. It was his identity. Every conversation, every flex, every excuse to leave the house began and ended with that vehicle. He'd drive it like he was in a music video, windows down, music shaking the trees, tires screeching into the driveway at 2 a.m. Jenna watched it all, knowing how dangerous it was. The way he drove buzzed, the way his friends stumbled into the passenger seat with red eyes and slurred speech. She even caught him filming a TikTok pretending to sleep while the car drove on autopilot. She reported it. Nothing happened. Eventually, she sat her parents down. "He's going to hurt someone," she told them. "You're letting him be reckless." "He's just living," Cheryl replied. "Let the boy have some fun," Dennis added. "You weren't perfect at that age either." But she hadn't been that. She hadn't been dangerous. Then, one Thursday night, she heard the front door slam. Frantic footsteps, whispered arguments, lights flicking on and off. Jenna crept downstairs just in time to see Dennis's car speeding away. When it returned at 4:30, aiming, he was practically dragging Ethan inside, blood smeared across Ethan's forehead. One shoe missing. He kept muttering about a tree. No police were called, no breathalyzer, no consequences, just ice packs and whispered instructions to keep the lights off. The Tesla vanished into the garage, door locked, covered like a body at a crime scene. Jenna didn't say anything the next morning, but the silence in that house felt like a thick fog pressing down on her chest. She passed by the laundry room and caught a low, tense conversation, her parents whispering like fugitives. "They'll ask questions," her mother said, her voice brittle. "We'll say it was cosmetic, a tree limb he backed into a pole, whatever," Dennis replied. "We can't say he was driving, too risky." "What if they ask who was behind the wheel?" Cheryl's voice cracked. "We say it was parked, hit and run maybe. No one saw anything." Jenna's stomach dropped. There it was. No concern about right or wrong. No accountability. Just damage control. That evening, they all sat down for dinner like everything was fine. Ethan swaggered into the kitchen, a bruise blossoming on his cheek, and cracked open a soda like it was just another lazy Friday. Jenna chewed in silence, her mind racing with the weight of what she now knew. They weren't just enabling him. 2 days later, during her lunch break, Jenna received a text from her mom. "Family meeting, 6 p.m., be home on time." No emojis, no context, just that clipped, tight tone her mom used when she wanted to make something ugly feel official. When Jenna walked in, it felt like a courtroom. Dennis sat on the couch, fingers laced, wearing that overly serious expression he reserved for family photos and utility bills. Cheryl hovered by the fireplace, eyes red but dry. Ethan was already slouched in the recliner, scrolling through his phone like he was waiting for his turn at a video game console. Dennis cleared his throat. "We got an estimate on the Tesla. Repairs are around 18 grand. Insurance won't cover it, due to the, circumstances." "You mean because he was drunk?" Jenna asked, her tone sharper than she meant. "Don't be dramatic," Cheryl snapped. "He only had a few drinks." Of course, because a few drinks and a blood-smeared forehead were just minor inconveniences to them. "We can cover some of it," Dennis continued. "Ethan has $500, 0 cents. Jenna snorted. That was probably Ethan's life savings. He hadn't held a steady job in years, and any money he had usually vanished in a blur of Taco Bell receipts and bar tabs. Dennis turned to her. "We were hoping you could help with the rest." For a moment, Jenna didn't respond. She blinked, as if trying to process whether this was a cruel joke or a test of how far they thought they could push her. "You want me to pay?" she asked finally. "With what?" "We know you've been saving," Cheryl chimed in quickly. "You've mentioned wanting to move out, get your own place." "My escape fund," Jenna cut in, "for first and last month's rent. To leave this house." No one responded. Ethan didn't even bother to look up from his phone. "No," Jenna said, her voice level. "I'm not paying for your cover-up. He wrecked it. He can deal with it." She stood, the chair sliding back quietly behind her. Her father opened his mouth to protest, but Jenna didn't give him the chance. She walked out, down the hallway, and shut her door with the kind of finality that made them all stop pretending, if only for a moment. What came next felt like a punishment. Jenna was jolted awake at 7 a.m. the next morning by a crash, sharp and metallic, a sound so violent, so deliberately destructive, it sent her bolting out of bed. Voices shouted from the garage, angry, panicked, breathless. She rushed downstairs, heart pounding. The garage door was open. The Tesla looked like it had been attacked by a mob. Every window was shattered. Both side panels were deeply dented. The windshield looked like a spiderweb of broken glass. One mirror dangled by its wires, swaying like a severed limb. It wasn't an accident. This was rage. Then she saw it. Her old softball bat lying in the bushes. Ethan turned, red-faced and seething. "You did this," he yelled. Jenna froze. "What are you talking about?" "You've been bitter ever since I got the car," he shouted. "Now you've finally snapped." Dennis picked up the bat like it was Exhibit A in a courtroom. "This was in the bushes. Yours, right?" Cheryl folded her arms across her chest, mouth tight. "We already filed the insurance claim, told them it was vandalism, someone angry, jealous." They all looked at her. "You can't be serious," Jenna said, stunned. "You really think I did this?" Ethan scoffed. "You're the only one who hated that car." They weren't accusing her because they believed it. They were accusing her because it was convenient. Because Ethan had always been the investment. And she was expendable. The insurance adjuster showed up Monday morning. Clipboard, khakis, windbreaker. Mac Trenton. He looked like a man who'd seen every excuse in the book. Dennis met him at the door, already in performance mode. "Our daughter's just emotional," he said. "She's been under a lot of stress." Mac barely blinked. "Where's the vehicle?" They led him to the garage. Ethan tagged along, walking like a man on his way to the gallows, still nursing his fading bruise like it was a badge of innocence. Mac said nothing as he surveyed the Tesla. He took pictures from every angle, crouched by the bumper, dusted the dash with gloved fingers. When he stood, he looked straight at Jenna. "You said this happened Saturday morning?" Cheryl nodded quickly. "We found it like this around 7. "I'd like to give my side," Jenna said, stepping forward. Mac raised his brows. "Go ahead." She told him everything. The crash on Thursday, the lies, the hidden car, the blood, the powder on the airbags, the silence. All of it. Mac nodded slowly, jotting notes. For the first time, Jenna felt like someone in the room actually heard her. Someone who wasn't already rooting for Ethan. 2 days later, Jenna got a text from an unknown number. "This is Mac Trenton. Can we meet? Something came up." 4:00 p.m., Greenfield Cafe. She arrived early, but Mac was already there, sitting in the corner booth with a folder full of printouts and a tablet. He didn't bother with pleasantries. "I canvassed the neighborhood," he said, sliding the tablet across to her. "Turns out the couple 2 doors down just installed a wide-angle security cam. It caught more than their driveway." He pressed play. In the grainy glow of 2:30 a.m., there was Ethan, clear as day, walking down their driveway, Jenna's softball bat in hand. He opened the trunk of her car, dug through her gear bag, then turned toward the garage. The next 10 minutes played out like a bad crime drama. Window by window, panel by panel, he dismantled the Tesla with methodical swings. Deliberate, calculated, not rage, something worse. Performance. When the video ended, Mac didn't say anything. He didn't need to. Jenna felt something settle in her chest, a cold, painful certainty that she hadn't imagined any of it. "He didn't just lose control," she said. "He framed me." Mac nodded. A few moments later, another figure approached the table. A woman in a Navy mule uniform, calm and confident. She introduced herself as Officer Rhea. "We've reviewed the footage," she said, setting a small notebook on the table. "The district attorney's office will be pursuing the insurance fraud, but there's more here. You have grounds to press charges. Attempted false reporting, evidence tampering, criminal mischief. That decision is yours." Jenna looked between them. Then she looked at the paused image on the tablet, her brother in her hoodie, holding her bat, smirking. "Yes," she said. "I want to press charges." There was no hesitation, no apology, just truth. When Jenna got home that evening, the house felt heavier than ever. Her parents were waiting. Cheryl clutched her phone to her chest like a lifeline. Dennis sat at the kitchen table, red-faced and silent. "You need to call the officer back," Cheryl pleaded, eyes glossy. "Tell her it was a misunderstanding, that you've changed your mind." "Even could face jail time," Dennis added, as if that was reason enough. "We're a family," Cheryl said. "This isn't how we handle things." Cheryl broke down in loud, deliberate sobs. "We've done everything for you, and this is how you repay us?" Jenna didn't answer. She walked upstairs and began packing, just the essentials: her laptop, IDs, savings, birth certificate. Enough to leave, enough to start over. She didn't feel brave, she felt done. As she reached the front door, Dennis blocked the way. "If you leave now," he said, voice low, "don't come back." She met his eyes, steady. "That's the idea." He stepped aside. She walked past him, down the steps, into the night. Her phone buzzed as the door clicked shut behind her. It was Officer Rhea. "We're ready for your full statement tomorrow morning." The case moved fast. Ethan pled guilty to everything. There was too much evidence, too much stupidity on record to argue against it. He got 6 months in county jail, 3 years of probation, a suspended license, and a fine that wiped out any dream of partying for the foreseeable future. Her parents weren't charged, but the insurance company wasn't kind. Fraud penalties hit hard. Their coverage was canceled. Legal fees piled up. They had to sell the house to cover the debt. The same house Jenna had once helped pay rent for, the one where she was always just a guest. Jenna signed a lease on a small 1-bedroom apartment across town, nothing fancy, but it was hers. She bought her own dishes, picked her own Wi-Fi password, and hung a corkboard near the door with a single sticky note that read, "No one else gets to write this story." Work noticed the change. She got promoted, started night classes in cybersecurity, something she'd put off for years, always waiting for the right time. Now she had time. Now she had space. Sometimes she would catch herself standing still in her apartment, just listening. No slammed doors, no guilt, just quiet, her quiet. 6 months later, just before sunset, there was a knock at her door. Cheryl and Dennis stood outside, looking like a pair of wilted flowers. Her father wore a wrinkled polo and the expression of a man trying too hard to seem composed. Her mother clutched a folder full of papers, bills probably, pleas masked as documents. "We're losing everything," Cheryl said softly. "Ethan's trying to turn things around, but we just need help getting through this part." They talked for 5 straight minutes. About frozen accounts, therapy bills, family obligations, what it meant to be there for one another. When they finished, Jenna asked one question: "Which part of framing me for a felony makes you think you deserve my support?" Silence. Their faces collapsed in on themselves, not in shock, because they knew the answer. In defeat. Jenna nodded, not with anger, just clarity. Then she closed the door, no yelling, no speech, just a soft click of the lock turning behind them. That night, she sent one final message. "The answer is no. Don't contact me again." Then she blocked their numbers, turned her phone face down and sat alone in the quiet. For once, the story of her life didn't have anyone else's fingerprints on it. It was hers now, all of it, and that made it worth telling.